Pacific Rim
Yes.
Uprising. So the first Pacific Rim movie I thought was, something of a treat. Is a movie made by somebody who appeared to be delighted to have been given, umpty millions of dollars to go away and make a huge movie about massive robots hitting giant kaiju. Guillermo del Toro has always said that he used to do, one for me, one for them, but even the ones that he did for them were personal. And the real key to that is the Hellboy movies. So whilst Guillermo was making, The Devil's Backbone, which is brilliant, and Pan's Labyrinth, which is brilliant, he'd make the Hellboy movies, but the Hellboy movies felt every bit as personal as some of the other films did. And when Pacific Rim happened, you did feel that sort of that love that he has for the enormity of the monsters, that love he has for the Japanese tradition of monster movies. You felt that it was made by somebody who really was passionate about this. I remember him talking about his worries about the 3D, because he was never a 3D fan, and the problem of miniaturization that happens with 3D, and how you can, when the whole point about Pacific Rim is that these things are big enough to stand up in the sea. They are really, really huge. You have to watch the thing and go, that's big. So now along comes, I think he achieved that instantly. So now along comes a sequel, which takes place 10 years after Battle of the Breach. John Boyega is Jake Pentecost, son of Stacker Pentecost, formerly a pilot, now somebody who is involved in the black market, selling Jaeger parts, Jaegers being the robots that people drive, and they take two people to drive them because they're so big. He's arrested by the Pan-Pacific Defense Corps and given a choice: either go to prison and do time, or rejoin the PDDC as an instructor, where he finds very quickly that it's impossible to be anonymous.
How you doing, Nate?
It's Ranger Lambert.
Are you having a laugh?
Well, this is a military base. You remember how that works? Ranger Pentecost. And you must be a Maranamani.
Yes, sir. Ranger, sir.
Well, let's get you squared away. Oh, and try not to steal anything while you're here.
Did that haircut just call you Pentecost? As in badass Stacker Pentecost? Pilot of Coyote Tango, hero of basically the whole world?
It's just a name.
Yeah, really cool name.
So, and that pretty much is
I enjoyed that, though.
Did you? Okay, fine. So what then happens is stuff starts again.
Stuff?
Yeah, general stuff starts again. That character, one of the things that they do is to bolt together, a new Jaeger from old bits of robotics. And during the course of the movie, what happens is that we have new robots, we have big robots, we have lashed together robots, we have drones, we have internecine squabbles, we have people turning on each other in strange ways, all that kind of stuff that I'm kind of interested in. But what we also get is that complete lack of emotional engagement or plot engagement or I actually care about this stuff engagement. One of the things that was interesting about the first film was that sense of scale was breathtaking. One of the things that's not interesting about the second film is that the sense of scale is really very boring. If you saw Godzilla, the new Godzilla, when you saw the thing with the halo dropping, and you really got a sense of the enormousness of it. There is none of that here. If you saw Kong Skull Island, there was a certain degree of, witty invention in that. I know not everybody liked that film as much as I did, but there we go. If you saw Real Steel, which was the robots hitting each other movie that turned out to be really, really good fun.
I love that film.
Yeah, so did I, okay? There is none of that. What you get here instead is the big beasties being directed by somebody who brilliantly does not have the pornographic sensibility of Michael Bay, so that's great. So we're not in Transformers territory, but equally doesn't have the magical sensibility of somebody like Guillermo del Toro that is needed to bring you into the story. So when you finally get large things storming around, smashing the sides off huge buildings, creating, chaos inconceivable, it doesn't matter. It doesn't feel like anything. It doesn't have any impact. I was reminded watching it of Ben Wheatley made a film called Free Fire, which did not do well at the box office, despite the fact that I loved it, but just goes to show critics don't know anything. This movie will do much better at the box office than Free Fire did. And Ben Wheatley said this interesting thing. He said the reason he made Free Fire was that he had seen so many films in which really massive destruction happened, and it didn't feel like anything. It felt like, it's the Batman versus Superman. It's all that stuff, just enormous destruction, but I don't feel anything. So he made a movie in which people get hit on the back of the knuckles with a wrench, or somebody gets danged on the head by a falling flower pot. The kind of thing that you can feel, the kind of thing that you can wince from, the stuff that has some kind of engagement. In the case of Pacific Rim, it just felt very, very much like lumpen, dirgy, perfectly well executed, but absolutely unengaging and frankly boring stuff happening. And the surprise for me was that because of the affection I felt for the first one, and because I think John Boyega is terrific, he's been terrific in everything from Attack the Block, which I know I was never a huge fan of Attack the Block, although it evidently was a brilliant piece of casting, and it's probably a film that I need to revisit, actually, because I was probably unfair to it. Or maybe I wasn't. I don't know. I have to watch it again. From that to Star Wars, he's very, very charismatic, very, very charismatic screen presence, so brilliant in Detroit. That doesn't come, then you get some production credit here as well. That doesn't come through on film at all. What you get here is literally just a bunch of big things going stomp, stomp, crash, bang, stomp, crash, bang, stomp. And at no point did you get that thing which I got with Pacific Rim, the original, which was the moment when you go, and you need to have that. I mean, we were talking before about the way in which fantasy film needs to, you need to not watch it. You need to be engaged in it. You need to be swept away in it. It needs to take you out of the here and now and put you into something else. It needs to put you right there in the middle of that suit that will then, drive the robot punch. It didn't. I just spent the whole film thinking, bash, crash, stomp, stomp, boom, bang. Is it finished yet?
Boom, bang, a bang.
Boom, bang, a bang, boom, bang, a bang.
Tom,
shorter and punchier.